minister Edward Heath, the cook Fanny Craddock, and the comedian Harry Grayson, amongst many others. In 1987, they retired to Deal, where they lived quietly and contentedly. Gerald had a great love of theatre, which probably sprang from his friendship with Eric, who had been an actor from the age of 14, and he continued to appear on television from time to time until quite late on in his life. Gerald was also very fond of music and had amassed a large collection of records, which he was more inclined to enjoy than watching television, except when Eric was off, of course. In May 2006, having shared some 54 years together, they became civil partners. But sadly, Eric was to die the following year in 2007. Gerald suffered poor health for many years, but he never complained and always managed to welcome callers cheerfully and generously, offering them a cigarette or a drink no matter what time of the day. He was devoted to the people who cared for him and who he looked forward greatly to their visits. He was in every sense a true gentleman and a gentleman, always seeing good in people and seldom with a cross word for anyone. Courteous, amusing, and always impeccably dressed. And I can quote something Gerald himself wrote quite recently. I have had the most wonderful and joyous life, with many loyal, caring, and loving friends. Who could wish for more? In amongst all our thoughts, whilst we're continuing to remember Gerald's life, I have been asked to say thank you to you all for sharing this time with us this morning, for your friendship with him along the years, and also for coming to say goodbye to him today. Especially as so many have travelled such great distances to be here. Thank you all very much. You will be most welcome afterwards at Duncan's Restaurant in Deal, a favourite of Gerald's, as we continue to reminisce and to celebrate his years. More memories follow now from different perspectives, and I'd like to introduce Martin and Sue.
Hope I get you this okay, hopefully anyway. My father asked me to read something that he had written for this occasion. He says, "Hi, my name is Martin Taylor. I am Gerald's nephew, and my dad is Stuart Taylor, Gerald's brother. My dad asked me to say a few words for him and Janet as they live in California and health reasons prevent them from travel. Gerald lived a full and happy life with his partner, Eric Sutton. They owned a soup kitchen in Stafford for many years, the old oak in Minster and Bennett, and retired to Deal. They also took wonderful vacations in the south of France, driving a rented car. Yes, I think Gerald did have a happy and fulfilling life. I also want to thank Gerald for introducing me to my wife, Janet. He did a very good job, didn't he, Martin? To think he might not be standing here if it had not been for Gerald. I love you were words rarely used between brothers. Gerald started using the phrase about 15 years ago when we phoned each other almost every week. I started using the words, I love you, and found them very easy to say. So Gerald, my friend, my parting words to you, I love you, and we'll see you in heaven soon. Sorry. favorite saying was, "Oh, I am a wicked uncle." He had a devilish, youthful nature, but it usually was age appropriate. After we had done something a little crazy, he'd always rein me in by saying, I should always be a proper English gentleman. I could feel the unconditional love Gerald had for Sue and me, and the love he had for life in general, and I will dearly miss him. Thank you.
Well, I had quite a selection because my two daughters were very blessed to know Gerald. My grandson was very blessed. He's 12, and he just met Gerald in August when we came over. And my 4-year-old, unfortunately, didn't have that privilege, but she did write him a note because her brother sat down to write a note, and her mommy sat down to write a note. And so she wrote a note, and it says, I love my Uncle Gerald. He is so handsome. And he is so handsome that I want to give him some of my Halloween candy when I trick or treat. I want to go there and give it to him. He deserves candy from Emma. He loves me. Emma and Mommy and Cole and Daddy and Chloe. And I will share this with you at Dr. Lee so you can see her precise pictures. And she did write his name up at the top. She's just learning to write. This is from my daughter Krista, who's very privileged to come over on numerous occasions with us. And so out of my two daughters, she had the most contact with me. Gerald, my dearest uncle, I have so many fond memories of our times together. You told wonderful stories about life as a child and how much you enjoyed those times with your brother. You had a wonderful laugh and were always so upbeat. I remember taking walks with you into town and ending up at the mission ship stand together. I'm glad we got to spend the time with you that I did. You will be missed. I'm lucky to have visited you on so many occasions and enjoyed being with both you and Eric. The quick trip for your commitment ceremony with Eric was one of my special memories. To see that you and Eric could finally be together as it was meant to be. You are so special, and my heart will always hold a wonderful place for you. I am glad that Ray, that's her husband, met you, and I am sure that Raymond, who's her son, he's 11 months old, that I will tell him stories of your life. My ever-living and ending love, Krista. This is from Heather, and she has more childhood memories, since she didn't get to see him as much in his later years. Gerald, I remember dancing as Cinderella with you as my Prince Charming. I remember us drinking our champagne with our arms interlinked. Now you have to remember she was 7, and he taught her how to do the glasses and the clink. I remember us much older. This is when Gerald came with Eric, when my daughters were 16 and 17. And my two daughters took Gerald and Eric out on a date, just the 4 of them. And they went to this place called Medieval Times, where they had nights that actually rode horses in an arena, and they divided the audience up. And you supported your night, you cheered, and they served a dinner, and he just got so caught up in the moment. And she says, I remember that when our king said, I need a queen, you said, here I am. And you had a big smile and a wave. I remember you calling my high school prom a ball. And how cute it was, Gerald. I will miss your darlings. I will miss you. Please watch over my family from heaven. Rest in peace, Gerald. You are loved. You are missed, Heather. This is from my grandson, who was privileged to meet Gerald just 2 months ago. Gerald was a good man. I knew very little, but the time I spent with him showed me that to love one with all your heart before with joy, and he loved every minute I spent with him, and I did too. He gave me gifts which will I keep forever and beyond. He was weak but strong in heart and mind. We may see him in pictures and hear him in letters, but the place we should remember him in our heart the most. If there was one thing I could say to him now, that would be to live a bright and happy life, to be with the family in heaven, and finally to remember all of us forever. Love you, your great-grandnephew, Cole Culler. And now just a word for myself. Gerald, my love, how we will miss you. You were always my favorite uncle. Of course, my only uncle, but still my favorite. So many wonderful memories fill my mind going back to the first visits when you and Eric would start your mornings with Winchell's Donuts and enjoy the warm California weather. Trips around the state and even an exciting adventure to Mexico. The family always joked about how you exhibited nervousness, and sure enough, with a big ceramic snake sitting on your lap, our car was the one pulled over and a drug-sniffing dog brought out. Remembering traveling to the States and having to be strip searched at the airport? You referred to yourself as the wicked uncle. Was that because you always overindulged us, talked Marty to gamble, let us have our first sip of alcohol? Marty and I will always remember Mug, Jug, and Fruck. We can tell you more about that at Denver is. Over time, we had to drop the uncle title and just start calling you Gerald. You didn't want to age too fast. You had the most gentle spirit, and we know how much you loved your American family. Marty and I both loved your stories about your growing up with Dad. You always remembered all the details, and Dad couldn't. We miss you, Gerald, your sweet soul, your kindness, your endless generosity, your proneness to exaggeration, and your touch for the dramatic, and for the love you had for all of us. Take care, my sweets. We love you to bits and pieces. Gerald, Don, my husband, also has a special message for you.
sadly